Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's layout, we are doing a 12 by 12 layout featuring the papers and elements from the ColorRush Studio kit for the month of February. And I pretty much probably have already the unboxing and one 12 by 12 up before this. So this is my second 12 by 12 using the kit, and I'm also going to be using one of this month's cut files. So the cut files, there was one that was like a string of bows, which I do still want to use. I'm just trying to figure out a creative way to use it, but I might just do a 12 by 12. Definitely want to use that one. But this one, I went in with the butterfly one. And so the butterflies have one side that's kind of detailed and cut out, if you can see that. And then the other side is solid. I cut it out from the complete pattern paper of the peonies, which I just thought was amazing. And I love it on this pattern paper with the light plaid. The reason I'm pairing it together, because I wanted something more solid. And instead of just going in my stash and finding, you know, like a solid light blue or light pink, I still just wanted to use elements from the kit. So I'm going with this paper, and this was the back side of it as well. And like, don't get me wrong, like even that looks really cool, but I feel like it's a little bit lost because it gets busy on busy. And I needed something with more white, and this was the only one with more white, even though this is still going on. My only problem is, though, too, is that I still feel that it's kind of busy. So we're going to take some gesso and tone down the background a little bit, just for some mixed media fun, not to really opaque white it out, but to add something to it. And what's funny is that I'm looking around and I don't even know where my gesso is. Where is it? Okay, so I do have a tub and I do have a tube, and the tube is almost gone, but that is expected. So let's, like I said, I'm just doing it sloppily on here so that I can push back the background a little bit. And the cut file itself was laid out like this when it cut out the paper. And I do still like that orientation, but I'm kind of wondering, should I just do it the opposite way just to give variety, because everyone that uses it will probably use it in the way it was cut. And don't get me wrong, I have a love-hate relationship with my Silhouette Cameo, because it destroyed it. Like, it didn't stick right, it didn't cut properly. I had to go around and like the pressure wasn't right. Like, all this got cut out, but this wasn't cut through the paper, and that's why this is kind of mangled. It was not fun. Like I said, love-hate with my Cameo. And so I just printed out a picture. I made it black and white because the colors were competing. And so I wonder, where should I? Just trying to see if I could have it overlap on my photo in any kind of way, which would lean me towards one versus the other. And I kind of do actually like, now that I thought about putting it on the opposite way, because this one can overlap a little bit in that negative space, and this could be over this one where it got mangled the most. All right, so that's what we're doing. And you can even see, like, I have the tentacles here that got cut out right, but in order to get these, like, I had to rip it off the paper. It didn't cut all the way through properly. It was a mess. So those antennas are gone. But we're gonna make it work, right? We're gonna make it work. So like I said, I'm gonna blur out the background a little bit with some gesso, and then we will put this layout together. It should come together fairly easy. I have the ephemera, I have the wood veneer pieces. We are using one of the butterflies. I pulled out butterflies from here, and then one of the mirrored ones too. So that's what you see here. And the only thing is a title. I know that they came with alphas, but we might need to get something a little bit bigger. Or no, I know. Scratch that. I have the acrylic pieces. Keep my thing. So yeah, we might do an acrylic title to stay with everything in the collection. Yeah, we might use one of these toward the end. Okay, so we'll put gesso. It has to dry a little bit, and then we will put it together. Okay, so I was definitely trying to get the last of the gesso out of my tubey tube, and my technique was so barbaric. I was just
you know, knocking it onto the chair, onto the mat that I was using, and definitely just smudging it around with a dry bristle flat brush. And like I said, this is just a technique that I've done in the past where I can just kind of mute down the background, and it did just that. Gesso was also used as a what we call like a primer, so that your papers just don't soak into, so that your mixed media slash, you know, like inks, paints, don't soak into the paper or surface that you're working at. It has time to like mix and blend on top. So once I was here, I was kind of like, okay, now that I muted it out though, maybe I can just do a little mixed media. So I go ahead and take my Distress Oxide sprays. I use Lost Shadow, which is this light gray, and then I use Picked Pistachio, which is like my favorite all-time color. It's like a minty green, and I just do a couple of sprays on there. Nothing too crazy, nothing too formal, very random. And I decided to just kind of go with there because since it was a whited out background, and I picked colors that were in the collage itself too. All of it was just an attempt to have it stand out more. But don't get me wrong, you know, once the page is done, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. But I wish I would have auditioned it first before spraying it with the butterflies on top, with it just being white. Because I kind of feel like it would have been, for the sake of the butterflies, a moment to stand out further. But that's neither here nor there. That's just kind of like a design preference with 2020 vision from looking at it once I'm complete. You know what I mean? I'm just being extra picky right there. So don't mind me what I'm talking about. So I'm using Nuvo glue to adhere them down to the areas of mixed media, and you saw me kind of map my photo. And I also put it on fun foam so that it had some dimension. That way I can have the butterfly wings kind of bent up a little bit onto the photo itself. That just gave it extra interest. You don't have to do that step if you create something like this. It definitely can just sit on top. For me, I was just trying to add just a little extra something. So here I am deciding to decide the title. It does come with a small pack of like rainbow alphas, but these acrylic pieces are phenomenal. I absolutely love the pack, and I do have another project coming after this, and I've used all the acrylic pieces. Like all the titles, everything was used. This kit was crushed in that regard. I still have some of the die cuts and like papers left over, but all the little embellishments and stuff were just so perfectly curated for this kit. So I used Bloom, I used the purple stamp, and then added the element around the page and doing a little gold splatter at the end, and that wraps that layout out. It's a beauty.
Okay, my dears, that will wrap up this one. Look at all that stuff. So I just added the last of the gold splatter, so this has to dry. But everything is pushed down. Got a lot of interest. And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It looks beautiful. But I'm almost wishing that when I did it, I didn't add the oxide sprays behind there. I wish it was more white, because then you would definitely see the cut file a little bit more. But that's neither here nor there. It did turn out beautiful with the wash of color in there. I just kind of feel like, I wish I would have seen it without this, you know, auditioned it out without the color, because maybe I would have leaned towards leaving it a little bit more bare. But like I said, it's still a beautiful layout. I am not complaining. I'm just saying, I wonder what it would look like with more white on the page. But for everything that is there, the mirrored one, oh, so pretty. And this one is so pretty. Everything is so pretty. So pretty. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. I will leave the link for this kit linked down below. Again, it's from ColorRush Studio. Thank you for joining me. All right, thank you so much for joining me. I will leave everything linked that I used for this kit from ColorRush Studio linked down below. Please give this video a thumbs up. It always helps my channel. And until next time, everyone.